people just react pretty harshly to certain things, and a lot of right now is just people reacting to the potential default on debt.
Now, what is it? I heard about the whole concept of the defaults from a friend of mine, a coworker of mine. Actually, he's a former Army dude, and he really pays attention to his government news. Now,
oh, he's got to, dude. Part of the default, man, is like, I don't know if he's still in the Army, but even if he receives veteran benefits,
yeah, that's it. He receives a VA check.
Yeah, that's the type of shit that's gonna get cut if we default on our debt.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well,
so I guess we'll kind of break it down and explain it for the viewers.
Yeah. What would be cut with the defaults? The debt ceiling crisis.
All right, we'll get there. That's kind of if we default. So basically, you have the debt ceiling, and from the way I understand it, we're borrowing a bunch of money from China and different places around the world, and the U.S. has always been known to pay the money when it's due. They say that, but really a lot of times, they just raise the debt limit. So it's not like China has a set limit on our debt, right? It's the U.S. government was like, one of the departments in the government wanted to maintain the power of the purse, staying with a particular part of the government. So our government, in I believe the early 1900s, set up the debt limit. So that way, certain branches of government can't just get further and further and further into debt without kind of consulting other parts of government. And I'm kind of breaking it down in pretty simple terms. There's a bit more of it than that. So basically, you have this debt limit, and every time we get close to defaulting, the Senate and the House of Representatives always agree to raise the debt, and we have more debt, and we're able to just keep paying on our shit. So right now we're in kind of a weird situation. So obviously we're very politically divided with Republicans and Democrats, as a lot of people know. And with that, they're refusing to work together on a lot of things. So the debt, we're getting close to the debt limit. I believe 2 years ago, Trump suspended it. So that means for 2 years, we were fine. And now we have to increase the debt limit, default on our debt, or suspend the debt limit. And with that, we overdid our debt at the beginning of August, I believe. And the parts of the government have been taking extraordinary measures, whatever the fuck that means, just like moving money around, doing different financial bullshit to pay the U.S.'s foreign debts and this and that. And they argued, that we're probably going to run out of money on October 17th to keep doing extraordinary measures around then, give or take, right? So what that means is basically normally they would go to the Treasury Department, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I believe they would normally go to the Treasury Department and then ask them for money. The thing is that department is out of money because of all this COVID shit and the unemployment extensions, this and that, paying people when they're quarantining for 2 weeks. So they're out of money. So now that their contingency plan would be if the U.S. defaults on its debt, they have to pay that foreign debt. Otherwise, they're risking an attack.
Well, I guess the question is, if they default, where's that money coming from?
Yes. So yes, that's the real question, right? So from what I've read, and you got to remember too that the media is kind of overwhelmingly liberal. I've looked at a lot of different sites, and from what I gather, basically, to pay that money, they're gonna cut a bunch of federal shit. So from what I read, food stamps would be not permanently stopped, but like temporarily stopped, or what's the word? Indefinitely stopped.
Indefinitely paused.
Yeah, indefinitely delayed or stopped. You have school lunch programs for kids.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You have all government workers. So the post office is paid through a different channel than most federal shit. So I know post office workers would still get paid and everything. But it'd be very similar to a government shutdown in that, like, cops,
Social workers.
social workers, like any federal employee, and that includes military, all military and veterans. So their pay and veteran checks, all that shit would be temporarily stopped, or indefinitely. And then they'd also cut Social Security, Medicare.
Okay, that was my next
There's
question.
some big ones there too.